Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself 700 years back, standing in a quiet Iranian village surrounded by rugged mountains. A place so small, so ordinary, that history barely remembered it. Yet its people achieved something so extraordinary that even today it feels almost unbelievable. This is the story of a village that outsmarted the Mongols. At a time when the Mongol Empire swept across continents like a storm, burning cities, destroying kingdoms, and leaving nothing but ashes behind, this little village knew its turn was coming. Rumors carried by travelers said the same thing over and over. When the Mongols arrive, no one survives. Fear hung over the village like a shadow. The farmers, shepherds, craftsmen, elders, all knew they couldn't fight. They had no army, no walls, no weapons. Running was useless. The Mongol horses would catch them long before they reached safety. But somewhere between fear and silence, a different kind of thought was born. Among the villagers was an old water engineer, a man everyone simply called the Master. He gathered the people and spoke calmly, almost whispering, "Our strength is not in swords. It's in the land beneath our feet, the mountains, the earth, and the water we understand better than anyone." He led them to the deep, ancient Khanats, underground tunnels built centuries earlier to bring cool, fresh water from the mountains to the village. These tunnels stretched far and wide beneath the earth. They were narrow, dark, and complex, but big enough for an entire village to hide inside for days, maybe even weeks. The villagers listened with disbelief, but the Master smiled and said, "These tunnels don't just carry water. Today, they will carry life." And that was the moment the village created its silent plan. As the Mongol army approached, the villagers abandoned everything above ground. They left their animals tied, meals half-finished, tools scattered, everything designed to look like a desperate escape. But in truth, one by one, they disappeared into the earth. Quietly, carefully, leaving no trace. Then came the thunder. Mongol horses shook the ground as they charged through the valley. Dust rose. War cries echoed. The village gates fell with a crash, but inside there was nothing. No people, no bodies, just silence. The Mongols searched every house, every stable, every corner. They tore open walls, flipped stones, and waited for days, convinced the villagers must be hiding somewhere. Yet they found nothing. To them, it was impossible. It felt as if the entire population had evaporated into thin air. Little did they know that just beneath their feet, an entire community was holding its breath in darkness. Inside the Khanats, the villagers lived by the sound of dripping water and flickering torchlight. Children were hushed. Elders whispered prayers. Every heartbeat felt loud, but there was hope, warm, fragile, and alive. Days passed. Eventually, the Mongol army gave up and moved on, searching for bigger cities to burn. And when their footsteps faded into the distance, the Master climbed to the entrance of the tunnel and looked out. The mountains were still. The sky was clear. The danger was finally gone. One by one, the villagers returned to the surface. The sun felt too bright, the air too free. They looked around at their homes, damaged, shaken, but still standing, and realized they had survived something almost impossible. They had defeated an enemy not through force, but through intelligence, unity, and patience. Years turned into centuries. The Mongol storm eventually passed, and the story of this village faded into whispers, remembered only by descendants who repeated it around fires at night. It was never written in grand history books, but it lived on, because wisdom like this is never truly forgotten. This story reminds us that strength is not always found in armies or weapons. Sometimes it is hidden in the earth beneath us, in the ideas of one wise elder, and in the courage of people who stand together. And sometimes, survival itself becomes the greatest act of bravery. This small, humble village may look like a single dot on history's map, but on that day, it outsmarted the most feared army the world had ever seen. And it proved that the human mind, quiet, clever, and filled with hope, is a force no empire can conquer.